This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
And the myth, the legend that is Joe Schad. Mr. Schad, how are you doing, sir?
Doing well. How are you?
Can't complain, my brother. First of all, let's go over the video yesterday. Video released, McDaniel and Tua talking. We didn't get to hear too much of Tua. We saw him smiling. Your thoughts on that exchange and what impressions did you get from that exchange?
Yeah, I wrote a column about it that you can find on the Palm Beach Post website. And I talk about how it's no mistake that the Dolphins released a private conversation between McDaniel and Tua because Tua was smiling. And the Dolphins want you to know that the hiring of Mike McDaniel makes Tua smile.
It's also a harmless conversation, that there was nothing private to really expose.
No, I'm not suggesting they shouldn't have done it. I'm just explaining why they did it. It was very strategic. And listen, the Dolphins have hired an offensive-minded coach who has been a part of an organization that was able to win and go to the Super Bowl with a limited Jimmy Garoppolo. And so this provides a lot of hope to Dolphin fans. I wrote another story breaking down a very long story, thousands of words, lots of words, breaking down the Shanahan offense that Mike McDaniel will certainly use as the base of his Dolphins offense. And it explains how, for example, they're going to use zone blocking, which is better for these offensive linemen than man blocking, because when left to defend men, they often were overwhelmed last year, as you know, Big O.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
But I also detail in the column, Big O, some of the things that we've heard about how Brian Flores and Tua had a disconnect, and how Brian Flores didn't believe that Tua Tagovailoa was good enough, and how Brian Flores didn't believe, according to my sources, and I'm not the first and only to report this, that Tua was dedicated enough to his craft. We'll see if Tua takes that as a challenge. I mean, surely he heard it from Flores directly for some time. So I think that what McDaniel is going to do here, Big O, part of the initiative in this hire, and we will eventually hear from Mike McDaniel, that he has an initiative and a plan to instill confidence, to try to build this guy up. And the same way Gase was once supposed to build Tannehill up, and he did actually help Tannehill improve. I think there's no doubt that Mike McDaniel's arrival will help Tua Tagovailoa improve, and that he will perform better in 2022 than he did last season.
All right. The only thing I want to follow up on the whole PR move thing. Have you noticed that around the league, that's what they do? They do a lot of that filming of the new coach and getting out of the car and talking on the phone and going to the office. And have you noticed that on other coaches that are being hired? Okay. So maybe that's something that they're doing now, and they've been doing it. Only problem is you had an ogre, an 82-year-old man playing the role of a head coach the last 3 years, that he would never take part in anything like that. So he would never allow you to film. He had no personal side of him. And Adam Gase was Mr. social distancing before social distancing ever existed. Maybe Mike McDaniel has a personality and he's cool about stuff like this, and he's willing to. It's like Tom Brady in New England and Tom Brady in Tampa. It's not a PR move. It's that now Tom Brady gets to be Tom Brady now in Tampa, where in New England he had to be Mr. Robot. And maybe
so Tom Brady said that in New England he couldn't share his thoughts. He couldn't share what he really believed. He said that. Okay. He said that once.
So maybe it wasn't a PR move with Mike McDaniel.
No. Well, first of all, there's nothing wrong with a PR move. That is not taboo.
You guys are minimizing this. You guys are making it sound now like this was done like, hey, let's Let's.
Of course it
let's
was. Of course it was.
So
Wait,
this
Big
is
O,
an
hold
extension
on.
of the smear
Big O,
campaign. So you think this is an extension of the smear campaign? Is that what you're saying? Right?
No, it has nothing to do with the smear campaign. Don't put words in my mouth. Listen, what I'm saying is the Dolphins put out a video of Mike McDaniel talking to Tua Tagovailoa on FaceTime on a plane in a very strategic manner. And that's fine. The Dolphins don't need to apologize for it. Mike McDaniel doesn't need to apologize for it. There's no apologies. It's part of a strategy. And if the Dolphins organization and the Dolphins PR staff didn't have a strategy, that would be a problem. So there's no problem.
Is it a strategy? Wait a minute, but is it a strategy, or is it, hey, let's give a little insight to fans on how things happen between a real coach that wants to coach his quarterback and how they're actually connecting? You can't do it before because the coach hated the wide receiver, so you're not going to film that. Plus, the ogre is not going to let you film it. I'm just saying it couldn't have been just that they're actually doing something to show fans the insight of an actual good relationship. Does it have to be that there's a narrative behind it? That
no, I don't like the word narrative. Narrative has a negative connotation. Narrative has it. Let me talk. Narrative has a negative connotation, and that is not fair. Of course, everything has a narrative. Every single thing we write or say or do is based on a narrative. Narrative should not have a negative connotation.
Well, why is it strategic? Why couldn't it be?
What's wrong with strategic? They should use strategy. They're a multi-million-dollar corporation. Of course, they should use strategy.
Yeah, but the word strategy is also kind of, you're insinuating something else.
I didn't insinuate anything. I said they made a strategic
decision. That word insinuates.
You can read in my column. They made a strategic decision to show how Mike McDaniel is going to attempt to connect with his quarterback. That is a good thing. There's nothing wrong with it. No apologies, no excuses, no problem. No problem. It's all good. Tua Tagovailoa is happy that he has an offensive-minded coach who is going to try to build a plan. And according to the people that I've spoken to, a lot of them who know Mike McDaniel, he treats adult professionals like the adult professionals they are, and that he expects them to be. It's about mutual respect, trust, relationship building, all positive, no negative, no drama, no controversy. Is what I'm saying is there's not a problem here, Big O. Don't try to create a problem where there's not one. The Dolphins have so many problems.
The way you're phrasing strategy, it's like, maybe it's
let's hope they have better strategy. Let's hire to have better strategy on the offensive line.
Yeah, no, I know, but that's strategy. But I wouldn't look at it as strategy. I would just look at it as, hey, let's show fans a little more insight on relationships between a player and a coach. That's it.
But that's not a sincere moment. I mean, the guy. I mean, I don't know.
You see, you didn't call it a sincere. You're calling it that it's not sincere. You're calling it that it's staged. You're saying all of this is staged. You just busted yourself now. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, a video that is recorded is going to be a little different than
any shot that he's talking to his quarterback, and that was his wife filming, because his wife is also excited about the first time her husband's a head coach, and he's talking with his quarterback, and they want to keep it. And then the PR department sees the video and they say, "Hey, let's edit it up and clean it up. We can then post it." So it's not possible that it could have been natural.
I mean, I don't know. I doubt it, but I need to make sure that my chicken doesn't burn, so I'm going to stop the oven. But I can still talk to you. I brought you with me.
He cooks and does interviews.
I asked my wife to get the chicken, but she's on an important phone call, so I had to do it myself. Listen,
I mean, you got to do something around the house, you bum. I mean, come on, you got to do something around the house, you bum. She can't do all the work. Come on, Jesus, turn off the oven.
We should do. My wife and I should do a FaceTime video and then release it on the internet.
No, you don't want to do that, because then you're going to get exposed for the lazy husband you are. So that's not a really good thing. I don't want to do that video because then I would look really bad.
I want to be clear about something. The
Yes.
hiring of Mike McDaniel is good for Tua Tagovailoa. I think that Mike McDaniel is going to give a very serious and sincere effort to build a relationship with Tua Tagovailoa. I have no problem with the releasing of that video. I have no problem with anything. I cannot wait to meet this guy, Mike McDaniel, because he appears to be a genuine, sincere guy who comes
you got a
from
human being
and a breath of fresh air and a person who's actually interested in getting to know other people. Okay. No negativity here at all. No problem with any of it.
Tomorrow at 10 a.m., what's the question you want to ask most?
Well, I made a list here. Obviously, we want to know about staff, how many folks are staying. Is he going to call the plays? I think he is.
Oh, yeah.
What's your leadership plan? What do you think of Tua? How do you connect with people? I mean, these are things that I'm really interested in, things that sort of contrast him with his predecessor.
Oh, you actually get real answers too. That's the beauty.
How do you go about teaching? I mean, listen, this is good for us media folks. I mean, of course, I hope it works out, from a football perspective. But listen, to be able to go into a press conference and to feel like maybe I'll be able to have a little bit more of a comfortable dynamic, in the room. I'm looking forward to that. I hope it works out. I think it will.
Listen, will it work or not? I don't know, but at least it seems like you're putting the right ingredients in the pot to kind of make a good meal. And the news comes out from Josh Kendall in The Athletic. Let's give him the credit that apparently they're interviewing Falcons QB coach Charles London. So he's already attacking that part of the ball that he needs to attack, whether it's quarterback, offensive line, running game, all of that stuff. And London's been around the running game a lot wherever he's been.
Staff building is key. Staff building is key. Staff building is so key.
We've learned that, right? We've learned that with Slomin and
never got it right.
Flo. Yeah. So I think that part is obviously the whole key to everything going on with this team is building that. And so they've got the right idea. Now, whether it works out or not, we don't know because none of us know what Mike McDaniel is going to be. But I'll tell you this, Joe, as uninspiring as this hire is for a lot of people, this is probably the most uninspired hire overall from the reactions I'm getting from fans. I'm telling you, this is probably the one that's going to work out because we've been inspired and pumped up about so many of them that they've all failed.
A lot of Dolphin fans never heard of this guy. Like, if you would ask them, like in week 12, hey, what do you think of Mike McDaniel? No one has ever heard of him. But if you talk to football people, which I did at the Senior Bowl, the Dolphins made one of the best hires of the coaching cycle. That this is a real upside hire, like a Josh Allen pick. Like, hey, we think this guy, maybe it's going to take him a little bit of time to figure stuff out as a first-time head coach, but he's got that Josh Allen ceiling. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No, I'm with you there. And there's no doubt that for Tua, at least, he has somebody that it's in his corner finally. And I can't imagine. Joe, have you ever worked at a place that you weren't wanted? Has that ever happened to you? Like that you ended up with a boss that you knew didn't like you? It wasn't so much the whole place or whatever. Like the idiot that's at QAM now. Like I knew the second I met him, it was over. I knew I was going to not get picked up. Like I knew it. Like
people leave jobs not because of money, but because they don't feel respected and appreciated. Right. Most people leave relationships for that reason. They don't feel respected and appreciated. So, the human relationship development, the connection, the emotional intelligence factor, key, no doubt. And, I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be fun. And, I'm really looking forward to it.
All right, let's see. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. will be the press conference. Joe and the boys and the ladies will be there to interview the new head coach of the Miami Dolphins, Mike McDaniel. Should be a lot of fun. What are you working on the Palm Beach Post, where folks need to subscribe to support you and check it out, my friend.
Well, I really worked hard on this Mike Shanahan offense, 10 things you need to know. There's a lot of stuff in there that I didn't know, and it's a really long story. Please look it up on the Palm Beach Post website. That's the big thing I want you guys to check out.
What's that, like 5,000 words you put in that thing? How many words are in that thing?
Sometimes I try to write long stories like our Hal Habib. He writes long stories.
Yeah. No, how long was that?
Words than me.
How many words is in that story for real? Like 2,000 to 3,000?
No, maybe 1,200.
Really? Okay. It was like $2,000 at least.
Most people don't have the attention spans for,
I know. No, you're right.
I get that because I have a short attention span too. But this story, I think you're actually going to learn a lot. Check it out. The Shanahan offense and how Mike McDaniel is going to bring that to Miami.
Give us one nugget from it so you can throw the Chum in the water.
Well, look, I mean, he's going to establish the run. He's going to go to a zone offense. He's going to use fullbacks and tight ends in the backfield, so more 2 men in the backfield sets. And he's going to the play that I think Tua is going to be good at is listen to this. They run the outside zone, okay, which is where all the offensive linemen move in unison, say, towards the right, okay? And then that running back glides, think Arian Foster, Terrell Davis, right? He glides out to the right, and then at the perfect moment, boom, he accelerates right upfield. That's the staple play. But here's what I like about Tua. They're going to run that out to the right with whoever, Phillip Lindsay, one of the 49ers guys, maybe he'll come over. Matt Breida, Raheem Mostert, one of those guys maybe comes back to Miami. So they run that glide play out to the right, boom, outside zone. They run it again, boom, out to the right. Now all of a sudden the defense, and I'm no football guru, but this just makes sense, right? The defense starts to hedge towards that way, and then they do a fake, and then Tua does a bootleg out to the left. And here comes Jalen Waddle on one of those Stephon Diggs, Debo Samuel crossers. They throw it to him, and here's the key. Tua was 29th in yards after the catch for his receivers, right? That's terrible. And they had Waddle. It doesn't make any sense. Jimmy G was like number 1 or in the top 5 in yards after catch for his receivers. So this offense is going to set up more yards after catch.
Play design. Yes, that's great because that's one of the things I've talked about. Play design was terrible for the Miami Dolphins.
They tried. It was just a lot of guys.
It's terrible. And Arthur Smith, who got the job in Atlanta, that's what he excelled at in Tennessee. His play design was just, obviously it helps to have Derrick Henry, no doubt, but his play designs were just absolutely amazing. And that's why he set everybody up for success. And
Matt LaFleur, Sean McVay, Zach Taylor, they're all from the same system. And what do they have in common? It's working. Everybody is going pass. The thing about this offense is it's rushing focused. Everything works off of the rush first. And that is a positive thing because we know the Dolphins need to improve their rushing attack.
Yep, let's hope they do it. Follow him on Twitter at Schad Joe, and of course subscribe to the Palm Beach Post and support Joe and all the great writers there at the Palm Beach Post. Joe, we will catch you next week, my friend. Appreciate you as always. Great insight. Thank you. You got it. There you go. The great Joe Schad joining us right here with our American Dream Lending Miami Dolphins report.